But here we are. It is time for the LocalSupport Harrow Community Network get together. I think is Dinesh there and Rachel and here I am, Sam. Good to see you, Dinesh. Yeah, let's put this onto old screen share and take a little hide that. Click all the buttons that Google insists that I do and get to our. Yes, here we go. So, just reviewing some outstanding action items. So, was there something about, Rachel, you contacting Reading Voluntary Action?
Yeah, and I haven't done it at all. I've totally forgotten again. I need to put it somewhere other than on a piece of paper on my desk.
I guess I'll put an action item for me to remind you voluntary action during the week. Okay. Remind Rachel. Okay. Yes. So Michael's here to check in on some of his things. I will follow up that. Yeah, we have not done this process of prototyping what the map icon size means. On me doing the full review of code. So we've got that note from last week from Dinesh about maintaining position directory listing. Rachel, I think you forwarded Dinesh's email and it was able to come to the retrospective last Friday. Great to see him there. Is Alex with you today?
No, Alex isn't. He's out at a meeting today, so.
Okay, cool. So got then with Alex next week. The fabric on. I was create a feature for nothing changed that will update, which is my own note here that I'm not sure that I understand. Do you remember what that was then? I think. Oh, I know what that was. That's related to that's adjustment to the feature that we've now deployed. This is so that this is the call to action feature when somebody is reminded to do something, they should have an option to say, actually, none of our details have changed, and then they would get updated. Yes. Okay. We've got a feature for lots and lots of new features. Yes, and I believe Michael and Marion have started work on this additional category of user for proposing edits to private data. That's in play. But so I think that's the outstanding things. In terms of the current agenda, we've got two things that you sent via email, Rachel. And we've got the usual review. Is there anything else to go in the agenda?
Yeah, there was one item around the VAR admin adding a second organisation admin.
Okay. Yeah. Should we get? Should we look at that once we've done the other things?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So if that's let's just to the time banking. So you're saying Age UK Harrow running a time banking project, and I think I brought up that's this.
Yeah.
Yes. And you were thinking that could we import their volunteer opportunities in the way that Do It is doing it with their guys?
Yeah. What it is that they want to promote volunteering to their people.
Yes.
In their system.
Mm-hmm.
But we're also working with Team London, which is a third volunteer website, but they're in the process of coming together with Do It.
Right.
So for us, if we've got a volunteer opportunity, we have to put it on Do It. No, sorry, Team London. If we then put it on Community Click, we're repeating our, we're having to do everything twice. It's, cutting and pasting. It doesn't take long, but if you're doing quite a few, it's quite time consuming. And I thought what would be more useful, and members of the public, would be having one place as a member of the public. You want to volunteer. Instead of going to Do It and Team London and Harrow Community Network and Community Click,
Mm-hmm.
Can all those opportunities be brought together?
Yes, absolutely.
In one place.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we've had that discussion with Do It, and they were open to the idea, but timing's really bad.
I think there was timing, and there's also sort of at least the service they provide at the moment is kind of a best effort, might work, might not, we're not sure, kind of thing.
And actually, most of the times I go onto Your Square Mile, all the things they bring in work. Apart from the Do It, often I think now you can see it's loading.
Yeah, no, this is their
And most of the time I've been on there, the Do It has, and it's doing it now. We had a look at it this morning, and it was loading. So I think it's only once I've ever seen the opportunity. So obviously there's something that doesn't work.
Well, I think, I think it's working as advertised, because in their description of the service that they say is they basically say, look, we'll only give you data some of the time.
Okay.
Explicitly, that it's not that it's broken and it's not that they're that it's broken and they're trying to fix it. I mean, they may be trying to optimize it, but they're sort of saying this is the nature of the service that we're providing. I mean, whether they can then upgrade it to another thing is another. But so I was looking at this. So where would I find the volunteering information?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think it is public unless you log in, so you can join. So that, in a way, I'm thinking maybe it won't actually work because they're wanting you to join the time bank.
Yes.
So unless you join it, you can't actually see the opportunities. So that might mean that.
Yeah, I mean I'll join it and see what I can find out. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'll do that. Okay, so that creates an action item for me to join the time bank and find out.
It's set up by the National Time Bank, and they have like a Harrow version. So on the Community Click website, if you scroll down at the bottom, there's a link to the sort of national.
Time Bank UK.
I presume if there's any questions, you'd have to go through them rather than the Harrow.
Yeah, I see that Third Sector Potential is a
partner. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, and then, well, I guess I'll just mention here about you were saying that it could be the basis of other specific databases, Steve's project around services of people with autism. Just to mention on that, in that, I kind of, and so I mean, I met with the person who is, doing that. This guy called Peter, who's doing it on behalf of ASAP, to the Harrow Asperger's Autism Association. He was showing me the Autism Services Directory, which is the national one, which he doesn't like, and says it's very difficult for people with autism to use. Yeah, I think it's an interesting. I don't know, something like education here. It does have at least a basic, list of things, but yeah. Anyway, so he seems to have gotten to a situation where he's got a very tight deadline, and he's got a certain amount of money, and it has to be spent in like 4 weeks, and he needs doing this sort of stuff. And I basically ended up saying I don't think we can commit to doing that for you through our volunteer framework. So he's a couple of other companies that might make something for him. So yeah, we'll see. But that's yes. That's where that's got to. And then you're mentioning the forum, yeah. So this is the HCA forum, the Harrow Community Association.
It's called Harrow Voluntary and Community Sector Forum.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is at the moment.
Okay. Is HCA is something completely different then?
Yes, HCA is a consortium.
Okay, but is it unrelated to that meeting?
Yeah, they're separate. So HCA is a consortium of organisations, and it's a legal structure, and the idea is that there's partnership projects that come under it.
Yeah.
The forum is more of an opportunity for groups to get together. It's quite informal. People come. there's an agenda. You know, are there particular issues in the sector? So, for example, there's been a lot of discussions around the cuts, and how can the sector sort of come together and sort of campaign against it. So that's really...
Yes. Okay. No. Fair enough. When I was speaking to Steve, I thought he seemed to say, "Oh, that is the HCA thing." But I guess there's an overlap, and a lot of people in the HCA also go to the forum.
There is an overlap, and HCA have a contract from the council, and part of that contract is to coordinate the forum. So yeah, it is complicated, and it does confuse people. So HCA's role is to sort of do the admin, to take minutes, you know, sort of organise the meetings, sort of all the behind-the-scene things. But actually, the forum is an independent group of individuals.
So HCA runs that.
Yeah.
Forum. The forum is, what's the initials of the forum? It's like voluntary sector and other.
Yeah. So anybody can go who's involved in the voluntary sector.
Yeah, but I was particularly interested in what the name of the forum was.
Okay, Voluntary and Community Sector Forum.
Voluntary and Community Sector Forum. So we call it the VAST Forum. It's the Voluntary and Community Sector.
Often, when it's acronymed, the A comes out.
Right. So it's VC. Yeah. All right. Voluntary and Community. So VCSF Community. I guess it's the VCS Forum.
VCS Forum, yeah.
Forum.
Yeah.
The sector. Yeah. Yes. But so you're saying a couple of people are coming to kind of talk to you about how they can tie in with the Harrow Community Network.
Yeah, so there's been a bit of a few people that have been working on making it a bit more formalised. At the moment, there's no official membership to it.
Yes.
People can turn up. There's no really rules about who can, who can't go. So in theory, anybody can go along, even if they've got no interest. I mean, in reality, it doesn't happen, but so they're trying to get it more formalised. So they're creating a constitution, and there's going to be a membership process, which will be quite simple. It'll be quite light touch, not lots of forms, and then you become a member of the forum. And then there's a database which Harrow Community Action manage on their behalf, but there is a database of people that are interested, and any emails go out to that database.
Right.
And what they were saying, instead of having a separate database for the forum, could we use Harrow Community Network that already has this directory?
Yes.
For the forum, so that when people update their information, they're only updating it once.
Yeah.
So that's where the conversation came from.
Right. Yes. So would that mean that I mean, you say the HCA or manages some sort of database, or an email list or whatever for the VCS forum?
Yeah.
Is the suggestion that possibly they would stop having that and switch to HCN, or that HCA would run in parallel with that?
I think it would be slightly running parallel. I don't know. My thought was that that those organisations somehow already on our system, or we'd be adding the others on there. But then there would be some option to say, yes, I'm a member of the forum.
Yes. Well, it would certainly not be a huge deal to add a box or I am or I wish to be a member of that forum with a link to information about that forum, and then you could be using it as a way of marking people who are already in the forum. That's them. Yeah, there's. I mean, the simplest thing in the first instance is just that we could add that field without any interface thing, and you could give me a list of the people who are in that currently in the forum, and I could put them in there, and we could create sort of a view, so you could get a separate map view and list of the people for that, and then we could move on to a separate picture, which is the more complex thing of presenting that as something that people might request and then be approved through the admin list kind of thing. Are you thinking that you want people to be able to request that and then be approved for that, or is it that anybody can be one of the
Sorry, you went really distorted. I didn't quite catch that last bit.
So as I was saying that, we can move on to a thing in the future where you can approve someone's request to be a member of the forum. But is that something that you want? Do you want to approve, or is it that people can say they want to be part of the forum and they just are part of the forum?
I don't know. I think that's a question I would have to put to the people tomorrow.
Okay.
And whether because in theory, I don't know quite what their criteria. They haven't really worked out their membership criteria. But my thought is probably going to be quite similar to what we have, which is they have to be a not-for-profit organisation.
Yes.
Working in Harrow or for the Harrow residents.
Yes.
And we already have that as a field on if it's a new organisation, obviously the charities already fit into that. And if they're a new organisation and they fill our form out, we've got that self-declaration anyway.
Right.
So I guess that's more of a question that I need to ask.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, let me know. I mean, I think, yes, it could be, we're still waiting on working on the integrating the sign-up process, and the sign-up process could easily have some checkbox of that kind. But well, no, thank you for flagging it. I think it's not a particularly complex feature, yeah, cool.
And then if we wanted to tie it in with the mailing list, at the moment that mailing list sits on MailChimp.
Okay.
So again, that the mailing list could be linked from that data to MailChimp.
Yeah, in principle, you could then be doing a mail shot to a subset that were the people who were on the forum.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, and that's kind of more. I mean, we're moving along relatively slowly in terms of the features at the moment. So I think those things and the MailChimp would probably be a couple of months out before we get through all of them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yes, all very good in principle.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was just to run it past you anyway, because I think they need to make the decision if that's what they want to do. Okay. At the moment, it was just it's just an idea.
Yeah.
So I'll have the chat with him tomorrow, and I'll feedback what you said and what could be done and timescales.
Yeah. Good show. One thing I'll mention is I still kind of keep thinking about integrating more with Do It. I mean, I guess at some point it will be time to reach out to them again and try and find out if things have settled down and so on. I mean, I
think that if you go and Do It, they've changed it. I think they literally are at the moment in the process over the next couple of weeks of changing it over.
Right.
So I'd say probably.
Yeah, I'll give it a while, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe early March. I know it's literally it's really different.
They're saying welcome to the new, right?
And I think some of the features are being transferred over, and data's been transferred over.
Right. There we go. Yeah, so I'll play around with that as well. The one I guess I think about the Harrow Volunteer Centre, which is a thing that Steve runs. I guess it sounds almost like he doesn't necessarily want to run it. At least I thought before that there was like something that he was, I really want to do that.
It was part of a contract. Again, this is through HCA.
Right.
Harrow have the contract to provide. It's a bit of a complicated thing. So through it, as well as sort of running the forum, there's some work around supporting groups in sort of capacity building, which Steve is doing there. But also, it's a bit of a funny one. In the contract, it said to find money to set up a volunteer centre. Officially, it's not really in there to run it. There isn't money in that contract to run it.
No.
He's really been putting some of his own money in.
Yes.
The reality is there isn't a huge amount of money around to run what would traditionally be a you don't get money from your local council. There aren't many other places that fund that sort of work. So he is doing it, but he's using his resources.
Right.
But you know, unless there's funding, it's unlikely anybody else is going to really run it.
I wonder if it's the kind of thing that, well, in terms of from VAH's point of view, in terms of the access to the data and kind of, you know, and so on, would it be something VAH would want to take on?
We would consider it, but we wouldn't. I mean, we wouldn't be able to do it without funding. It's quite a big, you know, if you're going to do it, you need to do it well.
Well, it sort of seems like that Steve's doing it on a basis, really. I don't know what he's actually putting in. Like, for the more as a result of you and I going up there and seeing what they're doing, what seems to be, from his point of view, is, you know, maybe paying some other people to also work on it. But, superficially, my limited understanding, I was like, gosh, well, this seems to be, you know, like this thing that's being run by volunteers. I mean, not on service, I don't think that. But yes, maybe I will talk to Steve more about what kind of resources he's having to throw at that to get that understanding of it. Yeah. Okay. You were talking about, have you had maybe some trouble adding a second organization admin in one of the?
I think this has come up before. So, Jit was doing some research. You know, I said about organisations that have no information available. And one of them, when we looked on the Charity Commission, they had a new email address.
Okay. Yeah.
One they already had was quite a, contact organisation.
Yes. What was the name of the organisation?
Oh, it was Advocacy Voice.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that top one.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's the email they've got now.
Okay.
But when we went to the Charity Commission, they've got a different one, but it's like something at Hotmail.
Okay.
Last week, Jit emailed them and said, you know, do you want this one or this one? And we haven't heard back. So what I suggested was that we kept, because neither of them bounced, they'll see email addresses that, you know, whether anyone's reading it, we don't know.
No.
I suggested that we left the mail at Advocacy Voice as a public one, and we added in the one that is on the Charity Commission website as an admin one.
Yes.
But I don't know, I mean, if you try now, if you just put an email address in there now.
Yeah, it won't work at the moment because in order for this to work,
they have to be logged in.
It has to correspond to a user who has that email.
Yeah. So it would be useful for us to be able to put, in that case, they're not a user, we haven't had contact with them.
Yes. I mean, I guess what there is, there's sort of a function there, which is that if you could type in that email and add it, and if that email didn't exist, that it would automatically generate an invite and say, you've been invited to be an admin of this organisation. This kind of would be the ideal thing from your point of view.
No, that would work.
Well, or at least, I think if we're adding, you know, I mean, adding an organisation manager email is not just associating the email with the organisation, it's creating, I mean, it's kind of saying that using this email, you can do administration functions. So, yeah, I guess, I mean, maybe you're asking for less than that, just that you'd like to be able to store other emails in association with the organisation in order to remember what those emails are. But
I've just got to get some water, mate. Sorry, I'm back.
Right. It's that time of year. A lot of my children are all coughing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe initially more simple, just being able to store it in there.
Yes, I mean oh, just something wrong. I think at the moment, just being able to store it is actually more that would be adding kind of like a new feature. I mean, in order to store it in a private fashion, like you could, in principle, just add that information to the description. I mean, you could be adding in place of a phone number. I mean, but yeah, at the moment, it's not set up to sort of allow you to just sort of append the data and make that private, so to speak. I mean, the organization administrator emails there is an indication under the hood that there are user accounts associated with those emails that can be used to administer this organization.
Mm.
So, which is maybe, yeah, it sounds like
it might be quite complicated as well. Say, I presume, say, if I was the mail at Advocacy Voice, I've logged in through that system.
Yes.
I want to add my colleague in.
Yes.
Not going to allow me to do that either.
Depends. I'm not quite sure what you mean there.
Say if I was from Advocacy Voice,
yes.
and I've got the generic email, so I'd be able to log in and set myself up, wouldn't I?
You can at the moment now. Like, I believe you sent an. This is a question of: do we have currently? If we can look at all users, if we then look for Advocacy Voice, so it looks like you probably sent an invite at some point, and as a result, created a user account but they've never logged in with it.
No, but if they did log in,
yes.
that person, they could go in to that page you were just on.
Yes.
See, to me, if I was working for a charity and I saw that page, I would presume I could add in my colleagues.
Right. But when you say add in your colleagues,
so I could add in, you know, Alex at Advocacy Voice.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But you wouldn't be able to without them creating an account first.
What I'm saying is that, yeah, at the moment that's how it is. So what I'm proposing then is, like, if you did add the email here, if it doesn't correspond to a user account, rather than saying you can't do that, it should create an account for them and send them the invite to it.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think the functionality that you would get in the interface here would be what you would sort of expect, that I could just go in and I add my other emails, and that's my other colleagues, and I've added them, and they're all going to be administrators. But in order for that to happen and for it to work with the rest of the system, we would need to do some of that user account creation on the back end and send the email invites, if you know what I mean. Yeah,
no, that would work. So, yeah, so they wouldn't get an account straight away, they'd have to activate it.
Yeah, I mean, from the point of view of the system, they would kind of, the account would be there, or the account would be created. The interface would update here, and it would show, you know, the list. There would be another email in there. So from the point of view of the person who's like adding the person, it's job done. But the person who was from, you know, who actually received that email as the endpoint, they would have to click through in order to validate that was the, you know, that they had access to that email in order to then log in.
Okay, and that would be quite straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, it would be just like the way that you invite. You know, it would be when you press the invite button for a charity that has no user account associated with it, it sends out that automated email. But so what we could do is we could hook up this system here so that when, you know, you wanted to add the email, it would do the same invite.
Okay.
Maybe with slightly different text that would say, "Oh, so and so has, you know, invited you to be," you know, rather than saying like, "We're inviting you to take this organisation," is like, you know, your colleague, mail@advocacyvoice.com, has invited you to also be an administrator of Advocacy Voice within Harrow Community Network, kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that would work.
Yeah. So I'll just put in there. We've got. I wonder. I think we have talked about it before. I have to check and see if there's also like. But we've got here a feature for auto creating new user accounts for additional admins of orgs. Okay. And then, so if we go into just the usual review, I don't think we have anything new to show you in that we basically, we showed you the, lost it now. Yeah, we showed you the, hang on, I'll read them through. Donation info, ability for non-admins. Yeah, so the thing that's important and that you saw a version of last week is this proposing organization edits. And I'm still code reviewing that with Michael and sort of making the changes based on what you suggested last week. But so that hasn't, there's nothing new to see yet. We're just in the process of pushing that out. I did deploy this thing for search optimization, but I don't think it has worked yet. So if we still do Harrow Community Network, I think we're still getting, it's still, showing us what I would like to see. But I think I'm told that that's just, it ends up being it's a question of time. So, we've got our sitemap.xml in there, which is, in there, and we just have to wait for Google's crawlers to kind of go through that and then turn that into one of those little things, but it hasn't happened yet, so nothing to see there, unfortunately. Michael and Marion have started work on this additional kind of user who can propose. They've got this, propose edits to non-public fields. This is sort of, admin and a super admin. So the site admin can just propose edits to non-public fields, and the super admin gets access to the full admin interface. But so not much to see there. Really, I guess I want to get the various additional features in there, and maybe we'll do a review of the priority next week. But we've managed to have, I think, a good meeting of minds there in certain places. Is there anything else to add? You can see the things that we're working on. You've highlighted some other new possibilities.
I don't anything from you?
Yeah. No, not really. I was just wondering about, the navigation thing. I mean, we haven't got that listed or anything. When.
So because you're mentioning the feature that you proposed last week, which is for the navigation to maintain its position.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, I think when that would be done would be a function of when we have resources to bring to it. So and also about relative priority. So at the moment, Michael's Marion have moved. The thing they're currently working on is, giving you the ability to propose edits to non-public fields. If Rachel was to say that the next priority after that was this feature to sort of stay in the, to maintain position in the navigation, we could prioritize that, and potentially that could be done in the next couple of weeks or so. But that would depend on, from Rachel's point of view, whether that was a higher or lower priority than, this fall for, the new organizations coming in, or what have you. What do you think, Rachel? Should that be the thing that we work on next after we've got the ability for Ditesh to propose edits to non-public fields?
What was the one we got?
Sorry, a second.
I'm just trying to think. Well, which one have we got next at the moment?
Well, so there's obviously this column is the ones that we're working on. The next feature that we would, in principle, start working on based upon this backlog is replacing the Google form with some mechanism for the new organizations to sign up directly through the site and have you approve or deny their requests. And that was the thing that we were talking about in the context of, we might add if we're doing that thing anyway, we might add a thing for them to indicate that they want to be part of the forum. But so that's a relatively complex feature that will probably take a while to do. Depending on how important that one was for the navigation issue, that's probably relatively straightforward. We could try and slip that in first.
And where's the one that about the search fields. I know somebody started. We saw a mock-up, didn't we?
The categories. So that's John's, and
I see. That's over here.
that's there, and that's in progress. Yes, so kind of we've got ability for non-admins to propose the organisation edits. That's one that you've seen. The destination info field, which is like actually kind of a trivial one, and I had a student working on it. I think that's going to end up and be restarted. Then we've got so there's the other categories. I'll try and have a word with John about that, and then the extension to the ability for proposing the edits is making the difference between super admins and admins.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Then if that's a simple one, then let's move the.
Yeah, I can put that in earlier. I mean, I'll check with the guys about my guess about that simplicity, but I can find the right thing. I think we have here. So this is maintain position directors and navigating to charities. In there, we'll need to go on that story, but yeah, I'll put it in as I replace the entire form. Requested by so when moving back and forth from listing to individual that's not lost. Alright, yeah, I've got that at the top of the backlog, so that sorry. There's these funny travel things, and these additional ones. I'm afraid we can't promise a particular delivery date for that, but we'll start working. I'll try and get again a sort of volunteer team, so they, I will encourage them to work on that once the current things are finished.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Anything else that we need to?
Doing homework, reading up on Ruby Rails and.
Jitesh, right. Yes. Oh, and Jitesh, I don't know if we'll have it's our graduation here at Makers Academy on Friday. You're all, more than welcome to come down to London. Actually, if you'd like to come and have a night out and see Makers Academy. I've got this actually. Here it is. Yeah, this is it's free tickets, and we've got 2 local charities worked with teams of Makers students, and they'll be attending. There'll be various. So it's a charity volunteering sort of event. So if you're interested in coming down, I'll send you the link for that.
What sort of timing is that?
It's 5 p.m. on Friday. The doors are open, and then 5:30 is when it starts.
Right. I'm not sure what my commitment is tomorrow.
But we do it every 6 weeks, and my plan is to have different charities working with our students every 6 weeks. So yeah, that's any the next one will be 5 weeks from now. But anyway, after that, it will repeat every 6 weeks. This is a Makers preparation. But yes, so probably as a result of that, we won't have a what's called a local support retrospective tomorrow, the one that you attended last Friday, Jitesh. But if you do, now Jitesh, have you joined Agile Adventures? You've joined Agile Adventures, and you're in the local support chat room.
I am.
Yes, yes. So I mean, if you are wanting to get set up with the code base or any of this and the other, then just do feel free to ask questions there.
Okay.
And we'll see if we can help you out.
Okay, excellent.
Great. All right. Well, if that's everything, I'll see you both next week.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye.